And we are back. Welcome to the final predictions video for the Premier League ahead of the World Cup. Of course, we will be doing daily predictions during the World Cup, so make sure you are subscribed to the channel so you don't miss out on that. You will also notice that we are back at the regular time for predictions. I did say last week was an experiment, and let's just say the experiment did not work very well in terms of views, so we are going to go back to usual. We're going to have the predictions today and the fantasy football tomorrow just to maximise the views on the channel. But again, make sure you are liking this series if you are enjoying it. We are getting a lot of views, so it would be nice to see a few more likes on the video. And like I said, we are going to be doing this every day during the World Cup, so make sure you are subscribed as well. Let's not beat around the bush. Let's just get straight into it. Let's run through last week's fixtures and then look ahead to the final weekend of Premier League action. So these were the games that were played last weekend. These are the predictions that I went for, and these were the results. And yeah, it really wasn't a great one. It was a tough week to call, I have to say. The things that annoyed me the most, I've got to say, I said that Everton and West Ham would both win fairly comfortably, and they both ended up losing at home. So that really didn't go well for me. The only other complaint I have has to be Newcastle and Southampton, where I felt like an absolute genius when Southampton pulled it back to 3-1 with a couple of minutes to go until Bruno Guimaraes made it 4-1, ruining my 3 points and leaving it just as 1. But yeah, I suppose the other good thing to say is I actually got a Brighton prediction right that didn't involve Man City. Didn't get the correct score, but I did get the correct result. So not the best of weeks, but not the worst of weeks either. It is only a score of 4, making my season score now up to 89. It would be really good to hit the 100 mark going into the World Cup, so 11 points are going to be needed this weekend. As always, let me know down in the comments how you got on, and let's look ahead to the weekend fixtures. And we start with the team that are, of course, defending the Premier League, the team chasing it currently in second place, and that is Man City. They are taking on Brentford. And kind of like last week, you don't really see this being any other result other than a Man City win. Even with the 10 men last week, they were still able to get the result, even if Bert Leno should have saved that last-minute penalty from Haaland. He, of course, will be available from the start this week. It seems Pep Guardiola saying he was rested for the Cup game just to make sure he was fit for the weekend. So fully expect Erling Haaland to start against Brentford, and I expect Man City to run away with this one. I'm going to be a little bit more conservative. I'm only going to go for 3-0, but as always with Man City, if they're on it, it could be way, way more. Next up, we have a whole host of 3 o'clock games on Saturday this week, and we start with Bournemouth and Everton. And this is one of the tougher ones to call this week, I think. Obviously, Everton did blow what was a good run of form for them at home last weekend against Leicester. Bournemouth are really tough to predict. Even when they play well, it doesn't seem like they play amazing, so sometimes they get results, sometimes they don't. I really don't know where to go with this one, therefore I'm going to do what I always do when I'm not sure what to do, and that is go for a 1-1 draw, and we will see what happens. Next up is Liverpool up against Manu manager Southampton. Nathan Jones, of course, taking over from Luton. Sorry, Dave. I know Dave's a bit upset. He is a Luton fan. But yeah, you couldn't really ask for a much tougher place to go for Nathan Jones in his opening game. Maybe Man City. I'm assuming he's taking charge of this game, but we shall see if he's going to leave it until after the World Cup. But either way, I think this is going to be a comfortable win for Liverpool. I know they've not been amazing recently, Liverpool, but they did get a great win last time out against Tottenham, and Mo Salah looked a little bit back towards his best. And obviously, he's not going to the World Cup, so he can be going at full pelt in this one. And I'm going to go for a 3-1 Liverpool win. I still think defensively they are a little bit suspect, so I can see Southampton nicking a goal, but I thoroughly expect Liverpool to get the win. Next up, it is Nottingham Forest against Crystal Palace, and this is another one that is relatively tough to call. Nottingham Forest obviously hadn't had the season that they were expecting to have. Crystal Palace have been very inconsistent, losing games I feel they should do well in, and then winning games like last week away at West Ham. So I'm going to go for Crystal Palace. I'm going to go for 2-1 to them. I think it's going to be a tight game. I could see this one being a draw as well. But given the last couple of weeks, I'm just going to edge it in Crystal Palace's favour. Then we have Tottenham up against Leeds. And if you're going to go on form, then surely I have to go for a Leeds win, because Tottenham lost at home to Liverpool and Leeds won away at Anfield. So I'm not going to do that. I am, of course, going to go for the Tottenham win. I'm going to go for 3-1 to Spurs in this one. They're still obviously light when it comes to attacking options, but it looks like Kulusevski is back. He definitely made a difference when he came on against Liverpool last week. And despite how well Leeds have played the last couple of games, you wouldn't expect them to go to Tottenham and get a result. So I am going to go for 3-1 there. Next is West Ham and Leicester. And again, based off of last week, this game becomes a lot harder to call. West Ham losing at home to Crystal Palace. Leicester going away to Everton and getting the win. Leicester on a mini revival now, but it's just a shame for them that the World Cup is coming when it does, because they were just about starting to build momentum going into this game. But I don't know. I would still have to back West Ham at home against a team like Leicester based on how they've played over the course of the whole season. So I'm just going to edge it in West Ham's favour. I'm just going to go for a 2-1 win, and we will see what happens in that one. Next up, it is, of course, Newcastle and Chelsea. And, well, given the form that these two sides have both been in this season, it is going to be incredibly hard to say for certain what is going to happen in this one. I think I have to go for a Newcastle win. I think they've been so good this season, and they've been so good under Eddie Howe, and the last few games for Chelsea have been very poor from their perspective. So I'm going to go for Newcastle. I'm going to go for 2-0 as well. I've not gone for many clean sheets this week, but this is one that I am going to go for. I think Chelsea need to pull off a good performance if they're going to beat Newcastle the way they are playing. I'm just hopeful, of course, that we don't pick up any injuries for Callum Wilson going into the World Cup in this one. Next up, we have the final game on Saturday, another 7:45 game on a Saturday, which you don't see very often, but it's happening for the second time in a few weeks this weekend, and it is Wolves and Arsenal. Arsenal looking, of course, to end the first half of the season at the top of the table, and I'm going to back them to do that. I'm going to go for 3-0 to Arsenal in this one. Wolves have not been very good this season. They finally look like they have their man, Julian Lopetegui, in charge. Whether or not he's going to be in charge for this game, kind of similar to Nathan Jones, remains unclear. So we shall see, but I think Arsenal will end the first mini-season on top of the Premier League, getting a 3-0 win away at Wolves. And now we move on to Sunday, and we start with the first game, which is Brighton and Aston Villa. Yeah, another really tough game to call. Brighton, of course, off the back of 2 wins. Villa now with Unai Emery in charge, absolutely destroying Manchester United last weekend and playing pretty well last night if it wasn't for a few defensive mistakes, costing them in the EFL Cup. So, again, tough to place this one. I'm just going to edge it in Brighton's favour. I've gone for a fair few 2-1s today, and we're going to go for another 2-1 here because I just think all of these fixtures are going to be very tight, but I'm just going to edge it in Brighton's favour. And finally, it is Fulham and Manchester United, and it would be very easy to just say Manchester United win this because they are a better team than Fulham, but you have to look at the record that Fulham have this year, and that is that they've only lost 1 game at home all season. Manchester United, off the back of their defeat to Aston Villa, played well last night, but didn't play amazing. They did deserve the win, but it was due to a few defensive errors. So it's going to be a tough one. Dalot is also suspended, which is a massive loss for Manchester United. He's played every single game for Manchester United this season. He has started every single game for Manchester United this season. So we're going to have an issue at right back. And yeah, I think this is going to be a tough one to call. I'm still backing the boys like I did last week, which is a very dangerous thing to do. I'm just, again, going to edge it 2-1 to Manchester United, but it wouldn't surprise me to see Fulham get a result in this one. They've been playing very well this season. I think Mitrovic will be a massive threat to Martinez. He's obviously going to target him. I know Martinez has done well, but in the games he has struggled, it has been against the more physical type of striker. So we shall see. I'm going for 2-1 Manchester United, and hopefully we can end the first part of the season potentially in a European place, or a Champions League place, should I say, but we shall see. And that is going to be it for today. That is going to be it for the Premier League Predictions series until Boxing Day. As always, thank you very much for watching. Thank you for supporting the series. Please make sure you are subscribed to the channel, like I say, so you don't miss out on all of the World Cup predictions we are going to be doing every single day over the course of the next month. And of course, as always, let me know down in the comments what you think is going to happen this weekend. Thank you very much for watching once again. I will see you tomorrow for Fantasy Football.